Hello, and welcome to The Kosh. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and The Kosh is a podcast that spotlights people who've had an association with The Kosh and the surrounding Fox Cities area. Also, I would like to mention that The Kosh is sponsored by Sturgeon Spirits Craft Distillery, The Kosh's newest tradition. Hey, Kosh listeners, how are you doing out there? Once again, it is a beautiful weekend morning. Today is particularly a Sunday. It's kind of fantastic out. Yesterday, we had our first snow. It was kind of, now, y'all know I'm not a snow fan, but it was looking pretty dingy. So this snow, I'll take it because we needed to brighten this spot up just a little bit. And the fact that it's not blistering cold. So I will always take some good Wisconsin weather that doesn't have those words associated with it, like polar vortex or squalor. Wisconsin's scary every time it comes up with a new winter word because it just means that we are in trouble for some stuff. But nonetheless, this is just a nice, regular Wisconsin winter Sunday morning. So fantastic. Now, I am super excited about this week's guest. I have actually been trying to catch this guest for a little bit of time, and we got time today. It's going to be super cool. I think it's going to be an amazing conversation. I think there's going to be some really good sharing that happens here in this episode. But more importantly, Kosh listeners, I think you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say. I do not know how I continue to get these amazing, amazing guests. And once again, this week is no different. So without further ado, this week's guest is Alyssa Jones. Hey, Alyssa.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How did things kick off this morning for you?
Good. Just the usual. Woke up, let my dogs out.
Are you a coffee person, tea person?
I'm a tea person. Well, I drink coffee. Sometimes I love a cortado, but I mostly drink tea.
Wait, you just went real bougie on me. What is a cortado?
It's like a little espresso shot with just a tiny bit of milk.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's still like a tiny espresso glass.
All right. But it's espresso, drop of milk in it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that it had a different name. I thought it was just espresso with a drop of milk in it. But I'm with it. All right.
I actually just learned about them only like 2 years ago. So.
But it's the thing.
Yeah.
See, I used to do like a shot of espresso every morning, and I loved it. Like, it was fire, but it threw my whole day off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was too much.
Oh, okay.
Too much. Like, I felt good initially, but then literally I feel like it would affect my whole day all the way into going to sleep, and like I wouldn't sleep right.
Ugh, coffee doesn't affect me like that.
No?
No, I wish it like made me feel awake, but it doesn't.
No? No. See, there's people like that. Now, see, there used to be a time where I would take coffee and like it would send me into a nap.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. I don't know. My body is, I'm going to blame it on 50. That's what I'm going to blame it on. Okay. You ready to jump in?
Yeah.
Okay. Alyssa, can you please share a little something about yourself and your connection to the Kosh and the surrounding Fox Cities area?
Yeah. So I grew up in Oshkosh. I own a jewelry store in Oshkosh. I own one in Appleton too, but I first opened it in Oshkosh. So I think I was like 20 or 21 when I opened it. And yeah, everyone here was really supportive and it was great.
Tell us more.
So
break down this jewelry store.
I got into the industry because my dad's a goldsmith. So he didn't own a jewelry store or anything. He would contract out to other stores to do like repair work on jewelry or like craft jewelry for them. And so I got into the industry because I would always spend time in my dad's studio when I was like growing up the whole time. I just remember when I was like 5 years old, my first job was actually in the jewelry industry. My dad would pay me in like $1 bills to draw pictures of jewelry just to keep me occupied.
Oh, wow.
While I was sitting in the studio. So yeah, that was my first job. And then I just kind of stuck with it the rest of my life, I guess.
That's not too bad. All right. You said you're from the Kosh, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are the schools? Where'd you go?
I went to Oshkosh West.
Okay. And what was the elementary?
I went to Oakwood Elementary, then I went to Traeger.
Okay. All right. People always like to know, especially since you are Kosh. So that makes a huge difference. Did you go to any of the universities around here at all?
I did not. No.
All right. Straight into business.
Well, I was actually enrolled to go to the Academy of Art in San Francisco, but I pulled out and did GIA instead, which is the Gemological Institute of America. So I did that and then I did some painting workshops and studying on painting in Paris, France.
Oh, you're international. You done did some stuff. Yeah. What do you do at a gemological, wait, what did you say?
Gemological Institute of America. So you go learn gemology, I guess. So it's like the study of gemstones.
Okay. What's there to learn about a gemstone? That is like what I'm curious about at this point.
The different types of minerals they are. So like, for instance, like a quartz mineral, or like the fact that like a ruby is a conundrum, and it's like, or corundum, and it's a ruby and a sapphire, both the same mineral, except, so yes. So a sapphire comes in all different colors.
Okay.
Except red, because that's ruby. Yeah. Or you learn like weird things where it's like an amethyst is purple and a citrine is orange, but they're both quartz minerals. And if you actually heat an amethyst up to a certain degree, it will turn orange, and be a citrine. So you just learn some random gemstone facts.
But it's got to be helpful in what you do, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is.
All right, cool. If you weren't doing what you do right now professionally, what would you like to be doing?
I would like to be a baseball analyst.
What?
Bruh.
Break that down.
So I'm really into baseball, and I'm really into baseball stats. So I would love to work in that industry if I wasn't doing what I was doing.
Oh, why does that not seem impossible? That seems like you could be doing that.
Maybe.
I mean,
I'd have to go to school for stats, but
I don't know. I mean, would you be willing to just be an announcer, or would you want to be the person that radios into the announcers and tells them those stats that they throw at you?
Yeah, I would want to be the one who radios in. I wouldn't be able to be an announcer.
You said not that life, huh? Okay, that's fantastic. How'd you get into baseball?
So my husband, he is from Louisiana, and he's an Atlanta Braves. He's a huge baseball fan, but he's an Atlanta Braves fan because Louisiana doesn't have a baseball team. So you're either like a Braves fan or like a Houston Astros fan. And we met on MySpace when we were 13.
You know, I swear you're the second person who's brought up MySpace in the last 2 episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and yesterday's conversation was all about the music of MySpace. Like how MySpace actually felt like it was better than what your social media options are now.
I loved it.
Yeah, like people really felt good about it. You put a lot of time in designing your MySpace, and you could glitter it out, which I didn't know. I learned that yesterday, and that there's a lot of options for MySpace.
Yeah.
The only thing about MySpace that I remember, because I didn't get into it, but I know I had one, it was just about what was your music when people scrolled through your stuff. I felt like that was the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What did your MySpace look like? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. I changed my layout so many times because I loved doing it. It was just fun customizing it. But yeah, I don't remember.
Should they wait, do you think it still exists?
I think someone has told me that it still exists, but I don't know what. I mean, I don't even remember my login and password.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I just would want to go see, does MySpace still exist, and what is MySpace in 2024? Yeah. Just to see, because it's had to change.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Maybe when we get done with this, I'm going to have to look that up. That would be really, really cool. All right. You ready to jump into the first segment?
Yeah.
First segment is called What in the World is Going On? And that's where you start with the phrase, what in the world? And then you tell us what's on your mind. So,
what in the world is going on with the Pitbull ban in the UK?
Bruh.
Yeah, it's sad. So large pit bulls are now illegal, and they are euthanizing them.
What?
Yep. It's a new thing. Yeah.
That's crazy. What?
Starting this week.
Why? Was there too many pit bulls? Was there some random pit bull uprising that caused? I mean, which, of course there wasn't. They're big old lap dogs, but
I know. Well, people have this stigma that it's, they're these vicious fighting dogs. I don't personally have a pit bull, but I used to volunteer at the Humane Society with my husband, and we would walk dogs, and the pit bulls were pit bulls there's a lot of them in humane societies and shelters.
Oh yeah. Tons.
And they were always the sweetest ones. They were so sweet. Like the worst ones were like the little ones. And I have a little dog. I have a little schnauzer. Those were the worst ones.
They really are.
But like the pit bulls were so sweet and so great. And there's a stigma on it, but I think it's mostly like the owner versus the dog.
Well, isn't that always?
Yeah.
I can't believe they're euthanizing them and there's a ban.
Euthanizing them, yep.
Did this pass already? When you say UK, what? The UK is broad, right?
Yep.
Is there specific areas of the UK or just across the UK?
I think it's across the UK. Yeah, I can send you an article on it after this.
All right, we'll make sure we connect that article into the podcast notes. But that's wild. Like, that's pretty
sad,
discriminatory.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, how do you discriminate against an entire population of dog like that? I don't know.
I love how your dog is just passed out on the floor. You're so cute.
Oh, Bosco, the podcast dog, like that dude, he's ridiculous.
So cute.
And he's going to do random things through this episode. Trust me. You see how he's got that bone there?
Yeah.
At some point, he might pick that up and just like toss it in your lap, and then he wants to chew it like right there in your lap. Like he's that dude. And Bosco could care less. Right now, I think he's on a peanut butter coma.
So cute.
All right. So, ban of pit bulls. We're going to have to look into this. This might have to be a topic that we come back to. I had not heard about this, so I can't even expand on it further. And it sounds like it's something that just happened.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to look into that. What in the world is going on with is what in the world is going on with Paris Hilton's cooking show on Netflix?
Bruh.
Now, Kosh listeners, if you don't know, Paris Hilton has a cooking show called Cooking with Paris. Now, I'm not a Paris Hilton fan, but I'm not against Paris Hilton. Like I have no reason to be a hater, anything about Paris Hilton. But definitely I'm not out there looking for Paris Hilton content, right? But so my wife has this thing where, when we're sitting around, she's, scrolling through Netflix, and then she'll just put on something random to take up space, that sound space in the room. And so she puts on Cooking with Paris. And I must say that this is the most entertaining hot mess that I've watched in some time. Like, it was fantastic. So, like, every episode starts with Paris in, like, dressed up to the T, going to a grocery store and going shopping, which already right there alone, there's comedy going on with Paris Hilton in a grocery store. She always has on a mask, and it's her shopping. She's got baskets and a cart, and it's just like, and she's throwing food around and asking random people random questions about different things in the grocery store. And I'm just like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Then she calls up a famous superstar, and there's a theme. So there's always a theme of what they're going to be cooking. Then you watch them cook it. Like, and this isn't no fake stuff. This is hilarious. And she's doing it in her total getup, and her friends all dressed up too. Nails, glitter, jewels, the whole nine. Throwing random things in pots and creating stuff. And she definitely takes the phrase, a recipe is just a guide, to the next level. And then they cook it and they legitimately eat it. It's not a switch out.
Do they do a good job?
Some of them.
Okay.
Some of them come out really good. Like, because some of them, you throw some stuff in a frying pan, you fry it, you put some truffle oil on it. Because she's not going to use vegetable oil, apparently truffle oil. And then she, Paris she uses Paris Hilton terms. So like my new favorite term of hers is sliving, which is slaying it while living your best life.
Oh my God.
Sliving. Yes. It's in the Urban Dictionary.
Wow.
She made this word and it made it to the Urban Dictionary. And I was just like, oh my God. And so it's just so outrageously entertaining in a way. But it kind of, in another sense, even though it's so over the top and it's kind of bougie, it also really humanizes her in a whole nother fashion. Because you know what? She's not trying to be a chef. She's throwing these dishes together, things go wrong, and then whatever. And then they still eat it, no matter how it turns out. Because sometimes her guest is looking at like, you put way too much glitter powder on this cannoli. This thing is not good. Then she blows it and like glitter flies off of the like there's wild stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God. So that being said, I don't know whose ingenious or dumb idea, whichever way you want to look at it, was to make a cooking show for Paris Hilton. But if you haven't seen it, Netflix people, check it out. Give it 30 minutes because these are short episodes. They're quick in and out episodes. I am willing to bet you will giggle your way through it. My wife's face through it is like this face of horror. Like I kept watching her face as we're watching the things, and she had this face of horror like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is actually, she's doing these things.
Bruh.
And but nonetheless, you know what we didn't do? We didn't turn the channel. We didn't stop it. We sat there and watched that train wreck, and it was good. So check it out. It'll help you sliving it up. All right, that's my what in the world is going on with. You ready for the next segment?
Yeah.
Okay, next segment is called 21 Questions. Even though there's not 21 questions, it may promote 21 answers. These are really nice in-depth questions just to help us understand you a little bit better. All right. First question. What are you grateful for?
Oh, so much. But right now, I'm really grateful for my clients. They give me the ability to do what I do every day. I get to do what I love and what I enjoy every single day. So I'm really grateful that they believe in me, they invest in me, and they support me.
What motivates you?
That's a good question. Probably my family. I would say my family motivates me. I think just, what they went through, going through the Vietnam War, coming here with absolutely nothing, and then working hard to get where they were in life. I just, it motivates me to want to work hard.
Vietnamese?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go back and ask this question from what you're grateful for. What is the coolest thing someone's asked you to make?
Oh, I've had so many things, but it's not the coolest piece I've made, but the coolest thing I've made is a set of necklaces. It was like a 99 and a Strider because he's my favorite, like one of my favorite Atlanta Braves, one of my favorite baseball players in general. And his wife just found us on Instagram, followed us, and inquired about getting those necklaces to wear during games. So that was one of the coolest things I got to do.
Oh, wow. That is cool.
Yeah.
All right. What grounds you?
That's a good question too. I mean, I guess my family again. My family grounds me.
What does success look like to you?
Getting up, being able to do what you want every single day, what you love, having like the free time to, work on your hobbies or, spending time with friends, things like that. I think that's what success looks like to me.
What irritates you?
People chewing with their mouths open.
Fair. Very fair. What scares you?
A lot of things, but I'm scared of heights. I don't like heights.
What else scares you?
You
already said a lot of things.
I don't like spiders. Those scare, like giant, the ones you see in Australia, those giant ass spiders that are like, those scare me.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree with you
like
more.
A little daddy long legs is fine, but those giant ones, no.
Yeah. No. I just, like, I'm not scared of spiders at all, but what I don't like is the spider that's out of your reach that you can't get to right away, and then it disappears.
Yes. Where did it go?
That's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what's he got going on. He's out of sight. He ain't out of mind. But he's out of sight. I'm not feeling that at all. What recharges your soul?
I would say art or reading. Being able to paint or, read a good book. Those always recharge me.
What other forms of art do you do?
I paint and I draw a lot.
Any favorite topics, subject matter?
I love to paint portraits. So that's
like abstract or detailed?
Detailed.
Oh.
Yeah, I love to paint a detailed portrait.
Okay. How do you define love?
I don't know. I guess really caring about a person, thinking of them. I think like I'm not someone who, cares that much about big romantic gestures, but just like my husband doing something like doing the laundry when I'm, too tired, or taking the trash out, just those like little small things just to help me out because I'm, exhausted, or just like we have certain roles in our house where it's like the dishes are his job and then, doing laundry is my job and whatever. But like sometimes if I have a lot on my plate that week, he'll just do all of my jobs. So I think that is what love is to me.
That's fair. Yeah. Step into my role a little bit. Okay, that's fair. Next segment. The next segment is called word association. This is where I'm going to say a word and you tell us what comes to mind or what's on your mind. Okay? The first word is the greatest word, the unifying word, the word that bonds us all. And that word is always food.
Pasta. Love pasta.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got a favorite pasta spot? Or do you got a favorite pasta dish?
No, I don't have a favorite pasta dish. I love, so many different kinds. I love right now Field and Fire in Greenville has a really good fettuccine. So you'll have to check that out.
Check that out. Field and Fire.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. I don't mess with pasta like that. Like I know I like pasta.
Yeah.
Well, what I like is spaghetti.
Yeah.
All right. But my beef with pasta is this. You eat it and you want to take a nap.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like I can't go do pasta for lunch. Pasta for lunch means like for the last hour and a half of my workday, I'm doing the nod thing at my computer screen, dying, wanting to just pass out and take a nap. It's so heavy.
Yeah.
It's so heavy. So like I can't mess with that stuff. But if I can take a nap, I'll eat pasta. I'm all about that life then. And some of it's rich.
Yeah.
Like the white sauce stuff.
Yes. Yes. Well, the fettuccine at Field and Fire, it's not like a white sauce on it. It's just like fettuccine noodles, but it's like, in oil and, things like that. But it isn't like this like heavy white sauce on it. It's really good.
Does Olive Garden qualify as pasta?
Yeah, I guess.
That look. You totally gave me a look like, nah, not really.
I mean, I will eat their ziti. I do like the ziti at Olive Garden. I haven't been to Olive Garden in a while, but I will eat that.
Okay. Look, I don't know. I'm a person. I don't know if I ever get past the soup and the breadsticks. No. I'm like everybody. Everybody goes there, you fill up on the soup and the breadsticks, you take your meal home.
Yes.
I mean, that's just the known fact of
I'm like a bottomless pit. So I'll just
oh, for real?
Eating. Yeah.
I'm looking at you and I'm trying to figure out where. Do you are you one of those people with a hollow leg? Like, is the food just getting stuffed in the hollow leg? All right. Well, that is good to know. Okay. Cocktail or beer?
Aperol Spritz.
That's the drink.
Yes, I love an Aperol Spritz.
Okay. You're the second person who's ever said that on the Kosh.
Oh, really?
Yes. I never knew what an Aperol Spritz was. And because of them, I do know what an Aperol Spritz is, which I do believe that guest was Trina Walt. Big shout out to Trina. It sounds refreshing. I still have yet to try one.
It is refreshing.
Yeah. When you walk into an establishment, do they know what it is and they just...
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right. And this sounds like a great time for me to just mention once again, big shout out to Sturgeon Spirits. And now no Sturgeon Spirits, I am going to come in and I'm going to ask for an Aperol Spritz. I'm hoping. I do believe they have some there. So that will be an experiment. All right. Shop local.
Obviously, Alyssa and Anna.
What do you all have in your shop?
So we don't have like much in the shop. We mostly do things like custom.
Okay.
So
what does that look like? Let's say I want to make something happen. What does that process look like?
Either people send in an email inquiry like from our website, or they just come in and they tell us what they want. I mean, people show us, Pinterest boards, or we have like a ton of gemstones at our Appleton location where people can, pick and make something out of that.
Now I'm thinking of I'm going to be very stereotypical male and think for us and generalize us here. And I'm thinking, I'm walking in, I don't know what I want to do, but I need something good.
Yeah.
How does that work?
We usually work on it with people. Like we have some models of rings, or we'll pull up like pictures. We'll ask questions. There aren't many people who actually don't know it all. Sometimes like they'll at least have like some idea or some photos before they come into us. I think mostly because people know that we do custom. So they know we're not gonna, they're not just gonna pick something from a showcase.
Okay. Right. So they have to, you're coming in with something. If they're coming to you, they know they want to create something.
Yes.
You're not the establishment where you
Yes.
just walk in and there's this huge selection. And
like yes. And they'll at least know, what, if they want like a diamond, or if they want like some sort of gemstone, they'll at least like, as long as we have a starting point, that's good.
We just need a starting point. Okay. I'm going to throw some other words at you.
Yeah.
Okay. Streaming.
I don't know. I guess music.
Okay. What are we streaming? What do we stream for music?
I listen to a lot of rap. So recently I've been streaming a lot of Kodak Black.
Facts. I like Kodak.
Me too.
I like Kodak's music. I don't like Kodak as trying to listen to him on an interview.
Oh, I know. It's so funny.
I don't know nothing Kodak Black be trying to say. And then I'm a person that reads the comments. So then I go read the comments, right? And everybody's like, yeah, man, word. He said that he's spitting truth. And I'm thinking, I don't understand about four words of what he said. I don't even know what the man said. How's he spitting anything? It was not coherent.
I know, but you can understand him when he's, in his music.
Yes. Yes, that's what gets me. Like his music.
But when he speaks, it's just like.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Right? You know what? That always gets me too. Like people who have an accent, and then when they sing, they ain't got no accent.
Don't hear the accent at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that always like throws me off.
Yeah,
so
agree.
I'm like, all right. So, okay, that makes sense. Concert.
Foo Fighters, because that was the best concert I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Oh, Snoop Dogg too. I think Snoop Dogg was really cool to see.
Oh, you got to see Snoop?
Yeah.
Where were you?
Milwaukee.
Oh, was that recent?
No, this was, a few years ago.
Okay. This long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know Snoop came to Milwaukee. I must have missed that part of my life. Foo Fighters, is that recent?
No, that was a long time ago too.
Did you quit going to concerts?
No, it's just like those ones. I don't know why they like Foo Fighters just like really. I wasn't even a huge Foo Fighters fan. Like I like their music, but my husband is a big fan. And then I went to the concert and it was just a great experience. Like they are performers. It's just, the music is great. They're, everything is great.
I believe that. I think some people, like, I would never listen to their album, but I would totally go to their concert.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's definitely some people like that. Like, I would strive to go to their concert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for a Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah.
And not that I wouldn't, like, Pink. I would totally go to a Pink concert because I think she's probably just one of the most amazing performers on the planet.
Yeah.
So I'd want to see that. But I would go to a Taylor Swift concert, except for I'm not going to pay Taylor Swift concert money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not living that life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. Some of the stories I heard about people who bought those tickets.
Yeah.
That was just wild stuff.
It's insane. It's like some people spent the amount of a car
Right?
to go to a concert.
One night.
Yep.
3 hours.
Yep.
And I could have been driving a Volkswagen.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. Well, maybe I'm just not at that point in my life to be able to do it. It's not really an option, y'all. Okay. Community.
Ooh, a lot of things come to mind. I guess. Oh God, there's like so many, like book club. Book club is a community. You know, I have a baseball community where we talk about baseball a lot. A jewelry community where, you know, there's other jewelry stores that, you know, I'm friends with and talk to.
What is that? I'm curious because I do think like anytime there's a very specialized profession, like I feel like there's this really tight circle of people that know each other and everyone knows each other, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like with you in that circle? Is there anyone else like you in the jewelry circle?
Not really, because most jewelry stores are like buy and sell. So they like, you know, buy pre-made pieces and sell them out of their cases. Like they'll offer custom, but they usually don't have like a designer or like a, you know, manufacturer like at here. They like send it out. So
I want to call you. That's probably what happens. They're like, oh, I'm going to call.
Yeah, we actually do contract out for other stores sometimes. So if other stores need like model of a ring, I'll like make the CAD model, and we have a 3D printer in house, so we'll 3D print the model and give it to them.
All right. Most of the stuff, do you actually do it in house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You make the jewelry in house, like the whole nine?
Yep.
That would be cool.
Yep.
Okay.
But we're actually branching out. So we have our jewelry is still going to be handcrafted, but we have a team of goldsmiths doing it versus just my dad and me, because it's just become too much.
It's gotten you've gotten popular.
Yeah, it's at the point where it's like, you know, we shifted towards that. So now it's not, you know, just my dad.
All right. The grind became real. Okay. Last word, diversity.
I guess showing different cultures and things, like certain movies. I guess I love how, you know, Disney has brought a lot of different cultures in movies like Coco or Raya and the Last Dragon. You know, Raya and the Last Dragon was cool to see because it was like Southeast Asia based, and I'm Southeast Asian. So it was kind of like growing up, I, you know, never really saw, you know, myself represented in things. So that was cool.
That's hard sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I don't think people always understand the importance of seeing people like you accomplish the thing, so then you know it's possible.
Yeah.
And I also don't think people understand that how subconsciously it can affect you as a person of color. When you don't see people ever do it, it feels like you don't have permission to go do it.
Yeah.
Like everybody's not a trailblazer. Did you feel like that starting your business, or was it like because of your father, you were just like, no, we got this?
Yeah, I think because of my dad, I just, you know, did it. I don't think I was so young too. You know, I was 20 years old. I just didn't really, you know, have much thought. I was just like, let's do this. Did it. There was no like, you know, I didn't have, you know, children or anything where it's like I had like a lot to lose or anything. Not that I don't have children now, but you know.
That's kind of fantastic.
Yeah.
So you were just young. You were like, yeah, let's just do it.
Yes.
Okay. That is awesome. Okay. That's super, super cool. Okay. We're going to get ready to jump into the next segment. And the next segment is the Kosh Hidden Gems. This is your opportunity to share with the Kosh listeners a hidden gem. It does not have to be in the Kosh. It can be wherever. And it could be something everybody knows about, but maybe they don't know certain details about it. Or maybe it's something that not very many people know about.
It's definitely not, people know about this place, but I love Cozzy Corner in Appleton.
Ooh.
I mean, it's tucked off to the side, so you can't really, you don't, see it. But my husband's from Louisiana, and we go down there multiple times a year. Excuse me. And we get really great Southern food, and that's the only place we can get good Southern food. But also Chicago Grill, you can get really good falafel there. And it's like a hot dog place.
What, the Chicago Grill?
Yeah, they have falafel.
Where is Chicago Grill?
It is near Cozzy Corner.
Okay.
In college, yeah.
All right. Now, I mess with Cozzy.
Yeah.
That's my Friday lunch sanctuary.
They have great fried fish.
Oh, two-piece catfish.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the two-piece catfish. And
I
and
usually
lemon
don't
pepper.
like catfish unless it's like Southern catfish, fried catfish. But
Right. No, it's good.
yeah, it's amazing.
And go on and give me it. And their hot sauce is right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love a nice vinegar-based hot sauce.
Me too.
And the Cozzy is legitimately cozy. It doesn't matter who you are. It's just that joint. Let me give a big shout out to Eugene, who's usually serving down in the Cozzy. I can't speak highly enough about the Cozzy Corner. Like, that is fantastic. But my other joint, you ever mess with the jerk joint?
Yeah. Yes, I have been there.
Like,
I have been there. Very good.
like that's my spot too. And I don't know if anybody is doing jerk food quite like the jerk joint. Like, that spot is special too. Okay. I agree. That's a gem. Hidden to some. I always love when sports stars creep through, like these NFL players creep through the Cozzy and stuff like that. Like, for people to hear about it like that or find out like that, like, this says a lot about the establishment and its food.
Definitely.
Okay. Next segment. It is now time for my favorite segment. You know what, Kosh listener, I figured out that what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get some music for this segment because I feel like it needs a better build up than me just saying it's my favorite segment. We need to build it up so it's like, yes, it is now time for story time. Story time is an opportunity for our guests to tell us a story. It's just that simple. It can be about absolutely anything. So, what do you have?
So a story I tell a lot is actually, it's not about me, it's about my dad and how he, got to America, because a lot of people like to hear it, or a lot of people ask me, I guess. He was around 14 years old and he grew up in Saigon, Vietnam. And one day he came home from school with his brother, who was 16 years old at the time, or 16, 15, something like that. And their parents told them they had to go with this man that they didn't know to, a place that they didn't know. So they went with him, and they had like all these legal documents. Well, I don't know if they were legal. I think they were forged, but they had all these documents to go, and they ended up having to go on a boat, and they were given like cyanide pills to commit suicide in case the North Vietnamese caught them. They, thankfully made it to Thailand. And then in Thailand, they had to live in a prison for a few months because, again, they didn't know if they were the North Vietnamese. And then they ended up getting sponsored and being able to come to the U.S. So my dad came here with nothing but the clothes on his back. And I think that's a cool story.
I think we need to have your dad on here because I've got questions.
Yeah.
Like, why? I want to ask, why here? Why did, and especially if it's during the wartime, and was there, and these aren't questions you can answer. Well, maybe you can, I don't know.
Yeah.
Was there ever a worry, like how he would be treated here once he got here?
I don't know if there was a worry, but when he got here, he wasn't treated very well. He there was a lot of racism. There was a lot of, he didn't, know the language because he didn't get to learn it before he came here. I mean, he came here too with just his brother without his parents. And there was a lot of ridicule. There was a lot of, people would spit on him. All of his clothes were like donated from, a church. And I remember the story he told me where and it's funny because he tells me these stories, but he's like the happiest person ever. So he's just happy all the time, joking. Anyone who comes to the store, if he's there, everyone loves him. And they'll like message me, on Instagram after, and they're like, I just met your dad. I love him so much. He's, so funny and goofy, but he's like lived through a lot. Like he grew up in war. And then, when he came here, there was a lot of racism, but there was a story where he, just got new to him, a brand new jacket. And then he went to, on the bus and people like threw butter on it. And there was just like, grease stains and stuff, or like
butter.
Yes. Or like people would like,
that's the worst.
Yeah. Or people would like, he'd walk down the hall and people would just knock his papers down, or, there's a lot, but he took martial arts in Vietnam. So he's a 3rd degree black belt. And there were times where kids were picking on him and he would just, leave it alone. And then there was like a time where he like broke someone's ribs because he just like kicked them once because he's, he does Taekwondo, and then broke their ribs. So at least he could, stand up for himself.
Right. They didn't want those problems.
Yeah.
Okay. How did he get into goldsmithing?
He went to the University of Stevens Point because that's where he was. And he took a metalsmithing class and didn't realize it was going to be like making jewelry. And then he ended up being good at it and really liking it. So he, went to the Gemological Institute in America because you can learn goldsmithing there. So he went there in Carlsbad, California, and learned it. And yeah.
So your dad's a pointer?
Yeah.
He graduated from Stevens Point?
He didn't graduate, no, because he switched schools.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But he went to the geological. See,
yeah.
Now I'm fascinated about this gemological.
Yeah.
Like I'm feeling like, did I miss out on something? I felt like I came up in an age where someone should have put that in some ears with all the jewelry in hip hop. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
It would have been a good time to learn to be a goldsmith. All right. That is amazing. So he's at the store.
Sometimes he pops in.
Okay.
Every now and then. He doesn't really work in the store, but every now and then he pops in.
Okay. That's awesome. That was a cool story. Okay. We are going to take a quick commercial break.
Did you know there are children in the Fox Valley in need of hearing aids, but their parents struggle to provide them because of lack of insurance or high copays? I am Juliette Sturkins, audiologist and board member of Here in the Fox Cities, and proud that this small local nonprofit organization has helped fund hearing aids for some 30 kids. Your donation would help more children hear. Visit hereinthefoxcities.org to learn more and to see their smiles. Every child deserves to hear.
All right. Kosh listeners, it's that time of the show. Every single time it makes me happy. And it is time for the topic of the week. This is the opportunity for our guest to pick a topic. Topic is usually chosen by our guest 99.9% of the time, which means almost always, and share something with the Kosh listeners. So what's your topic of the week?
Lord of the Rings. So are you a Lord of the Rings fan?
Yes, I am. I like when the movies. I read the books when I was young in school, right? And I thought they were awesome. And then when the movies came out, I was like, "Oh my God, this is so good."
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah,
I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. So I watched the movies before I read the books because the first movie came out when I was like in first grade. And I watched Legolas was my first crush. And I was devastated when I found out Orlando Bloom wasn't actually an elf.
Bruh.
But yeah, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, and I just have a question. Who do you think is the true hero of Lord of the Rings?
Expand. All right.
I think Sam is. Sam, I think, is the true hero of Lord of the Rings.
So, and Sam was the person who accompanied,
Frodo.
right? Frodo.
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Because, yeah, I mean, his loyalty, he was such a great friend. He, like, saved Frodo, from the spider. He carried Frodo on his back all the way up Mount Doom. So at the end, I think he's the true hero of Lord of the Rings for sure.
I could see that argument. I mean, yeah, you're right. Like, he had his back.
Yes. There's no way Frodo would have made it without Sam.
Nah, dude was real.
Mm-hmm.
He was 100. Okay. I thought you were going to throw me for like a curve. Like you were going to make the Gollum like the hero. And I was sitting at the edge of my chair like, ooh, I want to hear this.
His story is sad, Gollum's.
What's his story?
Well, there's a phrase in the book and it's in the movie that Gandalf says that I always think of. And it says that Gollum or Smeagol loved and hated the ring as he loved and hated himself. And I think that especially the movie shows a lot of like, the mental health issues that Gollum was going through when he was like speaking to himself. And there's a scene where he's like, looking at himself in like a reflection of water and he's talking to himself. And then there's another scene where he's again talking to himself and he wants to be good and he wants to be, Frodo's friend and companion, and he trusts Frodo, and he tells, himself, or like the Gollum and Smeagol tells Gollum to go away and keeps telling him to go away, and then finally the voice goes away. So I thought, it's a sad, deeper story.
You can't have good without a good villain.
Yeah.
Right? Like I am not evil.
Yeah.
But I do celebrate a really good villain. And not all villains are villains to me because they're complex.
Absolutely. I actually have a shirt that says, or a sweatshirt that says team whoever the villain is. Because they always have like deep, complex stories. They're not always like pure evil.
Well, no, not usually, actually.
Yeah.
Like, they got there for a reason.
Yep.
And actually, whatever they're trying to accomplish, when they speak about it, it's not always from an evil place. I always think of Thanos.
Yeah.
Like, Thanos wasn't evil.
Right.
Like, he had a reason he thought he was supposed to do what he's supposed to do.
Right.
Okay. Do you do Marvel?
I watch Marvel. I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but I have two friends who are huge Marvel fans.
Okay. I'm not going to steer you too far away from that. I'm coming back to Lord of the Rings. Out of the three, which one do you like the most? And there was a prequel they did, right?
Yes.
Did you see it?
I didn't. Which one?
Well, I thought there was a prequel. Because wasn't there did they do The Hobbit in movie form?
Yes, they did The Hobbit in movie forms, which not as good as, Lord of the Rings trilogy. And now they have Rings of Power, which is a TV show on Amazon, which isn't as great.
Okay.
Nothing. I mean, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is like a perfect trilogy, so there's nothing really that can compare to it. My favorite movie switches all the time. I watch them so frequently. Like, I've probably watched the movies 10 times this year.
Oh,
and
really?
I watch them so much. But it always changes. Sometimes it's Fellowship. Sometimes it's Return of the King. Right now, Two Towers is my favorite because I like, the battle at Helm's Deep. So,
is Sam your favorite character?
Sam and Aragorn are my favorite characters, both of them.
Okay, and who is Aragorn?
So he is the ranger that they meet at the the pub. I think it's like that, a bar, and he ends up taking them to Rivendell, and then he's, part of the Fellowship, and he is, the king of Gondor.
I just like Gandalf.
Yeah, I love Gandalf.
You know why I like Gandalf?
Yeah,
because he's the OG.
Yes, absolutely.
You gotta show love to the OG.
Absolutely.
And he's the OG.
Absolutely.
He's
my husband's favorite. So it's funny because my husband is not into fantasy at all. Like, not at all. He won't watch Game of Thrones. He's just not into any of that. But I got him to watch Lord of the Rings, and he loves Lord of the Rings, and he loves Gandalf.
Yeah. That's fantastic stuff. Is there other fantasy that you're into?
Yeah, I read a lot of fantasy books, I guess. I like the City of Brass series. That's a really good series. It's kind of themed towards like Middle Eastern. What is the word? I can't think of the word right now, but it's just like Middle Eastern inspired.
Okay. Now, Lord of the Rings is one of those things that you kind of assume everybody's touched it in some kind of way, like whether they read the book or at least they watched the movies or something. But then I know there's a whole group of people out there who have not, right? And especially like until you just said when the first one came out and what grade you were in, like I didn't realize it had been that long, but that's a minute.
Yeah.
Not trying to say anything about your age. I'm just saying.
No, I know. I'm 29 now. So it first came out when I was in first grade.
Yeah. So that's a minute.
It's a long time.
It's at least
23 years almost.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's at least 20 plus.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you tell? And I always keep this stuff in mind because time passes in such a way, and you don't realize. Like, to me, I think of stuff like Outcast, and but it's been like 25 years since the first.
I love Outcast.
Yeah, exactly. But this time passes. What would you tell to someone who's knows nothing about Lord of the Rings, or a young person that you would try to help them get introduced to it? What's the thing? Why should they? Because,
it's a beautiful story that has everything. It has, healthy male relationships. It has, a lot of depth when it comes to, I guess, mental health with, Smeagol and Gollum. It has, a hero, a villain. It has a journey. It has everything you could want in a story.
It really does. Okay. I just want our, not that I think I have a ton of young people listening to the Kosh, kind of know my demographic, but nonetheless, I do think that it's important. Even some of the listeners, somebody's not watched it, and I want to be like, no, y'all need to go ahead and make time. It's worthy.
Absolutely.
It's beyond worthy. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any last things you want to say about Lord of the Rings before we move on?
Just that if you haven't watched it, you have to watch it.
Need to watch it. Okay. It's that time. Time to start winding down, Kosh listeners. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for giving us your minds and your ears. Thank you for caring enough about another amazing member of our community. To get to know them, to get to know the things that they do. Like, we're neighbors. We need to know each other. I can't ever stress that enough. We are a work in progress. We are always trying to be better. We're also trying to become the podcast. We want to become the community's #1 podcast. And part of that is I need your help to be able to do that. So that means let us know how we're doing. Let us know how we can improve. Also, if you would like to be a guest on the Kosh, please don't hesitate. Reach out to us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. Also, maybe you don't want to be the guest, but you know another amazing guest. You can reach out and tell us that too, because I will reach out to them and see if they have an interest. That is how I get a lot of guests. Actually, that's how I got you. Once again, we think we have something very, very special here going on at the Kosh, but it would be even more special if we can get in front of more ears and let more people know about the existence of this podcast. And how do we do that? Well, we need your help. And that help means take this moment right now and hit the subscribe button. Wherever you're listening to your podcast, hit subscribe. And the other thing is take a moment and leave us a review. Good, bad, or indifferent. Leave us a review and let people know what you think about listening to the Kosh. What that does is it improves our analytics. And analytics is the way that the Kosh gets in front of more eyes and ears. So that's what I need from you, Kosh listeners. And I appreciate you as always. You already know. You already know. So now it's time to really start getting down to business. It's that time. It is shout out time. So, Alyssa, got some shout outs?
Yeah. Lawlss Coffee. You have to go to Lawlss Coffee. That's the place where you can get a great cortado. They have one in Sturgeon Bay, in Neenah, and in Appleton.
Oh, I mess with the one in Appleton all the time.
Oh, yeah. So I actually helped start it. I was an initial investor in Lawlss because one of my best friends actually owns Lawlss. Okay. So definitely have to go there. And you definitely have to go to Town Council in Neenah if you've never been there.
Oh.
It's a great restaurant.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Town Council.
Town Council.
Okay. Didn't know about that one. What's the food?
Like Americana style. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I got any other shout outs?
No, that I can think of right now.
Okay. My shout outs this week. I want to give a shout out to my man Solo T, Sean Fay, my man Garrett at Lawrence, and Chris Tarman. These are my dudes. 100. We went to a herd game, kicked it with my guys. Can't express how much I appreciate the herd arena, having the herd team here in the Kosh. It's so good. Like, we're so lucky to have a resource like that here in our community. And I just want to stress to listeners out there, like, you can't complain about not having things to do in the Kosh if you don't support the things we do have to do in the Kosh. So go to a game. Check it out. If you've never gone, it's fantastic. It's about as family friendly as it gets and affordable. I call it the high school game for adults because you're going to run into a bunch of people that you know, and it's just super entertaining and super fun. So big shout out to my guys and to the herd itself. And then one more shout out that I have. I want to send a special shout out to my man, Chris Weiss out there. Chris Weiss is my brother-in-law, and you know what he does? He religiously listens to Kosh episodes, and he's the one that breaks down things for me. And you know, if you ever want to get better, you need feedback. And he always gives me good feedback. So just want to send a shout out to Chris, let you know, hey, I hear you. I appreciate you. Yeah. All right. We got one more thing left to do. And you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing left to do is you got 3 choices. And the 3 choices are, you can share some parting words of wisdom with the Kosh listeners, or you can tell us, what would your self today tell your 13-year-old self? Or, like a good multiple choice test, you can do both. So that's option C, all of the above. So
I'll do option A.
Okay.
So I read a quote in the book, The Company of Women, a long time ago, and it stuck with me. I don't let busy get in the way of doing the things that I love. And so I always make it known to make time for my hobbies, make time to do the things that I love. I think it's important. I think it's good for you. I think that you should make time for your hobbies, or you should pick up a hobby if you don't have one.
Facts. Hey, thank you so much for coming and spending time with us. What did you think?
It was great. Thanks for having me.
The Kosh.